This is second grade module 7, lesson 17. Today in your lesson, you're going to be developing estimation strategies by applying prior knowledge of length and using mental benchmarks. Let's first start with our word problem of the day. The word problem is Benjamin measures his forearm and records the length as 15 inches. Then he measures his upper arm and he realizes it's the same. Part A, how long is one of Benjamin's arms? Part B, what is the total length of both of Benjamin's arms together? So first, when we're doing a word problem, you should always do the read, draw, write strategy. So let's read it one more time. Benjamin measures his forearm and records the length as 15 inches. Then he measures his upper arm and realizes it's the same. How long is one of Benjamin's arms? Part B, what is the total length of both of Benjamin's arms together? So we have two parts here. Let's first focus on the first part. How long is one of Benjamin's arms? Well, his forearm is 15 and his upper arm is the same. When you see that word same, that means it is the same measurement as before. So you just simply add, let me change colors, 15 and 15 again with it. That picture that would go with that, I would draw a tape diagram. I would say that 15 inches is this first one. And I would draw another one for his other part of his arm. So you have the forearm and the upper arm. Both of those are 15 inches. Okay, then I would add that together. 5 plus 5 is 10. Take my 10 over to the tens place. 1, 2, 3 tens. So this total is 30 inches, is the length of one arm. So I need a sentence. How long is one of Benjamin's arms? One of his arms is 30 inches long. That's part A. Part B, what is the total length of both of Benjamin's arms together? So if one of his arms, the top and the bottom part of his arms are 30, so what would be two of those? Well, my picture would be my one arm again. That was 2 15s. Let's move that up. So we had 15 inches here, 15 inches here, and we already said that was 30. And if I did another arm, do another tape diagram and another one, that's double. 15 inches plus 15, I already know is 30 because I've already done that before. So what I'm going to do is add those together. 30 plus 30. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 3 is 6. 60 inches. So what is the total length of both of Benjamin's arms together? Both of his arms together are 60 inches. That is our application or word problem for today. All right, so I said our I can statement was I can develop estimation strategies. Estimation means I'm going to make a really good guess by applying prior knowledge of length is measurement, using mental benchmarks. Well, what is a mental benchmark? Well, I'm going to show that to you today. All right. you're going to need some items today. So the materials you're going to need today are Lesson 16 recording sheet, new unused pink eraser, 12-inch ruler, that is from the last or previous lesson, and a yardstick. If you don't have any of these items, that's okay. You can just watch me. All right, so I'm going to make a little chart. We're going to create mental benchmarks. Mental benchmarks. Mental, we know, is using our minds. Mental benchmarks. So we're going to use our minds to help us with our measurements. All right, let's start with foot. What are some items that you know that are about a ruler, which is a foot long? Okay. How about a piece of paper? That's about the length of a ruler. What about a book? A book is about a foot. Of course, a small book would not equal a foot. Or how about a cereal box? All of those items are about the length of a foot, or 12 inches, which is one ruler. The best mental and most accurate, this book would not be the most accurate because there are different size books and there's different size cereal boxes. But pieces of paper, they're always the same length. Yes, people can cut them and make them smaller, but we're going to use this piece of paper as our mental benchmark. When I say a foot, you're going to think about a piece of paper. What about our inches? Take a minute and think about what are some things that are about the size of an inch. I thought of a quarter. A quarter is about an inch long. Some students said the length of their finger. That one would not be so accurate because everybody's fingers are not the same length. So in the inch category, we're going to use a quarter as our mental benchmark. A quarter. We can all see the size of a quarter in our minds. All right, what about a yard? Yard's much bigger. I think of my arms. That is when I have them stretched out. That would be about a yard. What about a bike? A bike is about a yard long. Or the width of a door. That's about a yard. The one that would be most useful and most accurate every time would probably be the width of a door. All doors are pretty much all the same width, so we're going to use that one as our mental benchmark. Our arms can be different sizes, our bikes can be different sizes, so that one is not the most accurate. So the width of the door is what we're going to use as our mental benchmark. All right, we'll put that up here in the corner to use as we do this next step. The next step we're going to do is we're going to be using these mental benchmarks, and we're going to estimate the length of it before we actually measure it. Estimate means we're going to use a good guess on using our mental benchmarks to how long we think the item is. So the first item I want to use, this eraser. Remember I said you needed a pink eraser? Here is my eraser. So I'm going to write the item down. Eraser. And I'm going to look at this. I'm going to use my mental benchmarks, either inch, foot, or yard. Well, obviously, it's much, much smaller than a paper that it's on top of. So I'm going to use my quarter. And I'm going to estimate. I'm going to think, how many quarters do I think this eraser is long? I'm going to say about 3. 3/4 long. If I use my actual ruler and measure it, it's pretty close. It's at 2. So it's actually 2 inches long. Not bad at all. All right, let's use another item. Let's use, I don't have one. If you could visualize a football. Let's put a football. You can visualize a football. Would I use my inch, quarter, my foot, piece of paper, or my yard, the width of a door? My football's not the width of a door. It's much smaller than that. We can carry it in our hand. So it's either an inch or a foot. I think it would take lots of inches to get to the length of a football. So I'm going to put a piece of paper. As my measurement here. And I think it's about one paper long. And I've already pre-measured. It's actually 11 inches long. 11 inches long is the length of a football. All right. And if you don't have any of the items that are going to be on your problem set today, that's okay. I want you to do all the ones that you can of the items that you have around your house, whether it's inside or outside. Here's a little preview to our problem set. But I want you to use these mental benchmarks, the quarter, the piece of paper, the width of a door, and estimate the length or the measurement of that item, and then actually measure it and see how close you really are. So we have a width of a door, width of a whiteboard, etc., etc. That's on your problem set. All right, guys. Thank you for taking your time to measure these items. It'll be most useful for you. I hope that you have a good rest of your day and head on to the problem set.